Hi Ned, how you going?
Pato, I am good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Really good. Good to meet you in real life.
Well, now that Zoom has replaced real life, it is good to meet you as well.
Yeah. So Ned, how long have you been a runner for?
So uh, I always tell people I'm old, but old is a relative statement, you know. So I'm 58.
Yeah.
I have been, I suppose, two stages of runner. As a kid, I grew up in Scotland, and I didn't run, but and this I don't know. You could be the judge, Pato, if this counts.
Yeah.
But I lived 2.5 miles from my school in the countryside in Scotland, and I walked to school and home every day from the age of 4. So 5 miles, 8K of base walk training from the age of 4 to 18. I wasn't a runner. And then life ended me, took me to Hong Kong. And when I was 28, a couple of friends, have you heard of the Trail Walker or Macklehouse Trail? The Trail Walker competition. It's a 100K race through the hills. And a couple of friends needed a teammate. And I wasn't really a runner. And they're like, who'd like to join? And they were my mates. And I thought, come on, this will be a laugh. And so I started when I did that when I was 28. So 30 years,
Yeah.
I got back. I've been ultra running.
Oh, awesome. And I mean, you represented Singapore at the Sat Champs. How did you end up in Singapore?
So I grew up in Scotland, finished university in Edinburgh, at a university called Heriot Watt, and I was doing odd jobs in London, sleeping on my brother's couch. Odd jobs. I was actually selling insurance door to door, and as you could imagine, it's not a whole bundle of fun. And I saw a one-way ticket advertised. It must have been in the paper because it was 1990, not on the internet,
Mm.
that said, and I can't remember honestly, Pato, it was probably $100 fly to Australia. And as I mentioned before we record, I was actually born in Australia, so I have an Aussie passport. I thought, oh, I'll go and be a backpacker in Australia for a year. And on my way back home from Australia, I'd met a young lady in Australia who was also British. We were going to travel home. We stopped in Hong Kong and we were like, oh, this is pretty cool. We were 24 at the time. Thought, why don't we try and get a job in Hong Kong? And we literally just started with teaching English, working in bars, the usual any jobs. And before we knew it, we had slightly better jobs and slightly better. And we'd been there a few years. And so we ended up spending 9 years in Hong Kong, had a couple of kids. And then Singapore, I was offered a job in Singapore. And by this time, we were truly kind of expats. And yeah, moved to Singapore in 2003. So had been in Singapore for just over 22 years. I recently kind of moved to Bali. I work online and as we're on Zoom, the new world of working online. So I commute to Singapore and I work a lot in Singapore. I'm a Singapore PR or represent Singapore, but commute between Bali and Singapore. But yeah, I've been in Singapore for just over 20 years.
Yeah, awesome. And approximately as far as backyard ultras go, like, is Singapore a big country like for backyard ultras?
No, Pato, yeah, straight up answer, no. We have one absolute superstar, a guy called Joshua Toe. Don't know if you remember, he did 72. He qualified for Bigs in 2023 and did 72 loops, which is super good. We have a really growing running scene. Like everywhere, running's booming.
Yeah.
When I arrived in Singapore in 2003, there was hardly any races, you know.
Yeah.
But like everywhere, running's boomed. And Singapore being it's a very small country, Pato. Literally, I've actually run around it maybe 6 times. It's 120K to run around it. So I
Oh,
sometimes just do a training run and run around my country.
yeah.
Not, you couldn't do that in Australia,
No.
you know. But ultra running is really popular now. There's lots of trail races and thousands. The marathon gets 30,000 people, and there's six park runs in a small little country. But backyard, it hasn't seen the mass. We have one race a year that takes place on the same day as the Sat Champs.
Right.
So same day as the Sat Champs, they hold a separate race.
Yeah.
It might be the only course in the world that does this. On the day, we have the Sat Champs, and then there's a separate race for anybody, but they go the other way on the course, so we don't interfere with each other.
Right. I
So
see.
they go. anti-clockwise and we go clockwise. So we
Yeah.
see them, so they have their own race. So that's the only race in Singapore is once a year on the same day as the Sat Champs.
Right. Okay. And are the people who are taking part in the non-Sat Champs race, are a lot of them trying to like get a number that's bigger than the Sat Champs race so they can qualify for the next time? Or
Honestly, Pat, I mean, I can't speak for all of them,
yeah.
but when it happened in 24, there was only maybe 40 people in the
Right.
non-Sat Champs race,
Yeah.
and the winner went 18 loops, so
Right.
not a lot. Um, Look, I've been in the Sat Champs team 3 times for Singapore. The first year, like she could barely scrape 15 together. So
Right.
you kind of had to put, I remember feeling I put my hand up. And I think in 21, do you remember the quarantine backyard ultra that was organized during COVID? The indoor one?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard. I wasn't really a backyard person back then, but I've heard a lot about it. So yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
So I did that in my bedroom, did 21 loops. And I think, honestly, Pato, I may have been the only person in Singapore who'd actually done a backyard. So when I popped my hand up in 21, there's a lady called Jerry Chua who is an amazing, she's like the queen of ultra. She's done huge races, 500K races and everything. She knew lads. She said she would take it on and organize it. And then she went to find the 15 best backyarders, which in the first year, 21, was 15 backyarders, just any of us. So we got 15. The winner went 34. Couldn't take his place at the Sat Champs, at Bigs, excuse me.
Yeah.
Next year, Joshua Toe won with 51 loops in quite an epic battle, and I won in 24. So, yeah, look, it's not a big backyard. It's a big running country, and the government's pushing running, and there's thousands of people at every race, but we haven't quite lit the backyard fire yet.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure it will happen.
Hey, backyard is, I mean, I watched the Sydney Backyard Ultra online.
Right. Yeah.
What was that? It was like huge number of people at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, they have. I think they had 500 or something like that.
Do you think I was watching it and I was like, does this get to the point where people simply can't get round because it's bottlenecked?
Yeah, I haven't done that one, but yeah, I prefer the smallest. I don't. I mean, I wouldn't mind running in a big one, but I do prefer the smaller field sizes
Hey,
personally.
well, come to Singapore, man. Then,
Yeah, yeah,
you'll have
yeah,
no
yeah.
issue.
So, and do you remember when you first heard about the Backyard Ultra format?
Oh, 1,000,000%. So I'm a, by nature, I'm a bit of a fanboy. So when I get into something, I'm quite into it. And as mentioned, I started ultra running 30 years ago, and I used to order Ultra Running magazine. So I used to get it posted to Singapore. I would devour it, look at all the results. And I remember lads being on the cover. So I've been following Barkley, way before the documentary, way back when. Uh, and so I was a big fan of many things, back in the good old days of Ann Trayson and Marshall Ulrich, Scott Jurek, and, winning Western States 7 times, and watched Ultra grow a lot. And I remember, yeah, it was during COVID.
Yeah,
I'm in Singapore. Well, look, we all had our lockdown stories of how frustrating lockdown was, not getting into lockdown, but in Singapore, you weren't allowed to run more than 1K from your house.
right.
And for an ultra runner, that's,
Yeah,
I may or may not have pushed the boundaries on that a little bit. Let's not get into that now. uh, and I saw, whether it was on Facebook, obviously it was on the internet, the people organizing quarantine backyard. There was a guy called Ryan Kershaw. I think Stephanie was part of it. Stephanie, who's part of the media team.
oh, yeah.
Dave Proctor. And it came onto my radar and I was like, let's go. I have a treadmill. This sounds crazy. And I remember reading it and then like, wait, this is Laz's race? Oh my God, I'm all in. So yeah, 2020 during lockdown. And I missed the first one. Do you remember that? I don't know if you saw the first one and all the drama of how it finished and the guy's iPad didn't work.
Right.
Uh,
No, I didn't see that. No.
Basically, there was 2 people left,
Yeah,
and the guy, can't remember his name, quite a famous ultra runner,
Mm,
when the bell went on loop 70 or 80, it was on Zoom, two people on treadmills, his iPad had frozen. He
right,
didn't hear the bell for 8 seconds. We're all watching on the stream. And as the bell rings, he just stands still on his treadmill.
right, yeah,
And everyone's like, dude, go. And he can't hear us. And then you hear on his iPad about 10 seconds past the hour,
the
the
bell,
bell rings and he starts running.
yeah,
And then the organizers are debating, do we disqualify him? But hey, I think you appreciate Laz and the rules. The rules are the rules. He did not start on the hour
right,
eh, because he had a delay in in his iPad and the bell, and he didn't see the clock on his. And I remember watching it, thinking, "Hey, this is a sport. This is going to go like the excitement."
yeah,
So I joined the second quarantine backyard ultra. That was the first one. So yeah, early 2020.
yeah, cool. And do you remember how long you went for in that quarantine backyard ultra?
21.
21. Okay, very good. Now, you did mention the representing Singapore at the Sat Champs in 2020, and
20, correct. 20, yes,
yeah. So, and you did 22 yards, right?
I did.
Yeah. And how did you enjoy your first real backyard ultra experience?
It was we were still in lockdown, so we had to wear masks. It
Right.
felt quite underground because Singapore, I don't know if I'm sure obviously you know Singapore, but and I think most people are familiar. Rules in Singapore are rules, and while we had been allowed to take part, we all had to sit 3 meters apart. We couldn't really run together, but we did. I I loved what I realized so quickly is, oh wait, no one gets ahead. This was the one thing that stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
I get to see everybody because I'm an older, slower guy, and in trail races, the winners are gone, right? The leaders are gone,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, this is cool. And the other thing that I realized was I stopped at 22, and it really taught me the mental aspect. Because as you mentioned, Pato, I did 21 on my treadmill.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it was a coincidence that at 22 my brain gave in, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was wonderful. Loved self-crewed, didn't have crew, just was chaos. I would come back in and there'd be shit everywhere and stuff everywhere. And I realized I'm a fairly unorganized person. I thought two things struck me. This is amazing. We can see everybody. And B, I need to learn to get organized because those few, as you may have seen from Biggs, I'm not the quickest guy. I don't have 15, 20 minutes like Phil sometimes gets to. I have 4 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
I need to figure this out. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Came fifth or sixth, sixth, I think.
Oh.
And it stirred in me. I'm like, oh, I didn't think I could go to Biggs then, but I thought I could go further.
Yeah, yeah. So when I ran my first backyard, like I didn't really know much at all, and I did 16 yards on coconut water and biscuits. So, I mean, yeah. When you think back to that first backyard, like I mean, you obviously laugh a bit at how much you've learned since then.
Oh, I feel so. I have done six paddles, so Biggs was my sixth, which isn't a huge amount. But then again, given that this is a small sport, growing rapidly, six is, relatively experienced in the backyard world. So, of course, then I saw Phil just passed his 1,000th yard and Harvey. I was in the tent next to Harvey and I saw his setup. Dude has an actual bed, like a bed frame with a bed slat mattress and a real mattress. Like his place looks like a permanent dwelling.
Yeah,
Like to say, how much have I learned? A lot. Am I better at the game, if we call backyard the game? Do I, apart from just running the whole overall, I used to try to run 48 minutes loops because, I better be a bit quicker. I'm going to be at the front. That'll be cool. And I'm like, guys, forget all of that. So I'm still learning. I've learned a lot. I mean, I think if you'd put me at the same fitness level on the Biggs course, without the knowledge, I would have done 20 something. I think knowledge at backyard and just experience. I do a lot of backyard training. So I do 12 practice loops, 18 practice loops. I did 15 from my house here. I think I've done 150 loops in training and then maybe 150 in practice. So 300. It's not a huge amount, but it's not zero. And that knowledge is super helpful. I feel very calm in transition now. I feel calm coming in with 4 minutes to spare. Whereas on the first time when I came in with 4 minutes to spare, I thought, oh, this is the end. I can never do it. And I was throwing stuff everywhere. I think I'm just a calmer backyard. And even though my excitement is palpable and clear for everyone to see, I'm
Yeah.
calmer in repeating the process.
Yeah, excellent. And after that first one, do you remember thinking to yourself and having an idea? Like, did you think how far you could go in the future with more experience?
I think I did. I'm a little delusional. I when I train for any race, I have a phrase. It's not my phrase, but a phrase I like. If you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right.
Right.
And so I tell myself I can. I just tell myself I can do things that are further away than they should be.
Mm.
So look, I honestly, after the first one, did I think I was getting to bigs? I did not. But did I think, my very first thought was I did 21. Come on, Ned, 24, 100 miles in a day.
Yeah.
Come on. And then, of course, you think, well, 24 is not far from 30. 30 is a nice number. They tell you in backyard never have goals because you stop at them. But
Yeah.
I think somebody described it as a magnet. They pull you towards them, the number. The problem is once you get there, they repel you from going further because you've got to, 30, 40, 100, So I did think I could go quite a lot further. But the other thing is I've had 30 years in endurance. I've done Ironman, I've been to Kona, I've run 100-mile races, 100K. I think maybe I was looking for something at 58. I had no speed left. At 50, I ripped my hamstring completely off my leg and had a year and a half out of running. Before that, I was like an 18-minute 5K guy at 49. So not fast, but not slow.
Yeah.
3-hour marathon guy at late 40s. But after 2 years out at 50, you're not getting fast again. Like there's no point at mid 50s to try to get speed. And I thought, I was looking for a slower race.
Yeah.
And I think my skill now is in not stopping. Obviously, I stop and, whatever it is, my heart's very set on. I don't do any other races anymore. I don't do anything else. I only do backyard. I'm all in on backyard. It occupies my thoughts.
Yeah.
Probably too much.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So on DUV, it shows that your second backyard was actually Andy's backyard. Is that correct?
Look at you with your podcast history. Yes, indeed. Both, and interestingly, if you know Dave Kwiatkowski,
Yeah.
who was at Biggs, so that's his dad's race.
Mm.
So both I have two children, aged 25 and 23, and they both went to university in Virginia, in America, at a university called UVA, and that is in a town called Charlottesville. And I go to visit them when they were there. They've left there now. They still live in America, but they've left there now. And I was visiting that must have been in 21 or 22? 21,
I think it was
right?
21. Yeah.
21. Yeah. I was visiting, there was Family Day. So it was a day during the year and we fly from Singapore to America, probably more than we should, and I saw online that there was a backyard, like right there.
Yeah.
I was like, what? But separate story, I had a startup at the time, which was just absorbing all my time. I was coming back from this back injury that I had. So I had a back injury in the leg. Anyway, I hadn't really run for like 3 months.
Yeah.
I thought, again, in my delusional state, it'll be right.
Yeah.
It's a hilly, technical, tricky course. And as you'll see on the results, I did 14. It kicked my butt.
Yeah. Do you remember if you met Dave Kwiatkowski at that one?
I didn't. It was funny. I met his dad, Rick, briefly.
Hmm.
And I was just running my own little thing. I had fun. I met a couple of guys. But then I followed Dave online. And I'm not sure if you've interviewed Dave. I think you have.
Yeah,
But
I have, yeah.
he ran across America.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he's young. He's 28. Most people in this. So I ended up catching up online with him, cheering him on. Completely random. His dad's a running juggler. I don't know if you know, but his dad does marathons and juggles. And I used to be a juggler and blah, blah. So we connected online.
Yeah.
So I got to know them afterwards, but not during.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Now, in 22, you ran for Team Singapore again, and back then though, like, did you have like a burning ambition to make it to bigs in Tennessee one day?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So you did mention Josh Toe won with 51 yards in that race, but what do you remember about your race that year?
Ha! Uh, in my, so, Singapore, I love Singapore, but we are not the deepest backyard country. So when we got to 24 loops, there was five of us left.
Mm.
And, I was definitely creaking and not feeling great, but I was like, oh, wow, 24. And this was the first time that Joshua had done 24 because in 2020, Joshua did 23 loops. I did 21. And we formed a bit of a bond on next time we'll go 24. So on that day in 22, Joshua, a guy called Derek, Hongwei, and Chris, we all got to 24. And I remember thinking, okay, I'll come fifth. These guys are all stronger than me, but let's keep at it. And then quickly, Hongwei dropped out at 24. So then there was four of us left. And then on loop 27, I was cooked. Honestly, Pato, I was cooked.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll start 28. I think I'll hobble it out. And as we started 28, Chris didn't continue. I'm like, oh my God, I'm third now. And your brains. And it was funny. As we took off, Derek and Joshua didn't look very strong. So I went from, oh, I'm going to drop out to, oh my God, I'm going to win this thing, right? Suddenly, I'm like, let's go. Of course, I got round 28. Derek and Joshua were very strong. I couldn't, on 29, it took me like 15 minutes to hobble the first K. I was
Right.
like, all right, I'm cooked. And then Derek and Joshua went on from loop 28 to loop 51. So they had a two-person battle for 23 loops, bit of a classic. Joshua won. And I remember thinking, I knew Derek doesn't love backyard. He did it for Singapore because we wanted strong people in the team. I knew he didn't love it. And it ignited in my brain. Okay, Joshua is another level. But you know what? Every dog has their day.
Mm.
And, maybe, just maybe, next time, let's see. And it definitely, and I watched Joshua go to Biggs. I watched the stream of Biggs get better. I've brought everything of Laz's. I've read the books and it's ignited in me.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm now the third best backyarder in Singapore. Like you have a shot,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, 100%. From 22 after that Sat Champs, I thought I have a shot.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, because you did mention before, like, if you believe you can do it, you can do it, and if you believe you can't, you can't. So at that stage after that race, like, if someone had told you that you were going to win in 2 years' time and qualify for bigs, you would have believed them.
Yes, I would have. Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew it would have taken something extraordinary and different, but I would have believed it was a chance. Yes.
Okay, yeah, cool. And so, what were your confidence levels like in the days leading into the Sat Champs last year in 24?
Pretty good. Look, so my confidence levels were excited, hopeful, and believing. Because I said I have to tell myself.
Yeah.
I tried hard, that I'm not a huge volume guy. I'm doing maybe 100K a week. Again, look, I was 56 back then. The one thing that I have to do is I love sugar. I like eating crap, biscuits and cakes, but you're not winning, you're not doing well on. So I had actually spent 6 months not eating a drop of sugar, eating clean. I don't drink. I was getting up early, trying, hard. And I felt fit. I dropped 10% of my body weight from 80 kg to 72. I felt good that I disciplined. I love running. It doesn't, I want to get out the door. People are like, oh, Ned, it's amazing you put all this effort into running. I'm like, dude, I'd run all day. Like, I don't, like, that's not the hard bit. I actually had, do you know who Bronco Billy, Jeff Browning is?
Oh, are they a triathlete?
No, so in the sport of trail, like long distance in America,
That's right.
Bronco
Yeah.
Billy, Jeff Browning,
Yeah.
he is, after he's one of the strongest older guys. He's like 53. He's still winning. He's not winning Western States or UTMB, but he's winning. And I got him to coach me as an older guy. And I was doing a lot of strength. So I was doing I'm not a gym guy. I'm not a strong guy, but I was doing core and strength, and like I tried hard for it coming into it, and yeah, I was calm but confident.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw that there were, it sounded like it was a pretty similar kind of situation as 2 years earlier around that 24-hour mark. There were four runners left. And then 2 years, 2 yards later, you were the last one standing with 26. So what happened in those last couple of hours?
I mean, it was. Hey, Pato, as you know, in backyard, you just don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just so we got to 24. There was Joshua, Zoe, and one other guy, Frank. Frank dropped out right away. So on loop 25, there was me, Joshua, who I know well and have huge. I mean, I love everyone in the Singapore team. I have so much respect for Joshua, and a lady called Zoe, who's really talented. And Zoe was cooked. You can just tell. Zoe was cooked. And on loop 25, I'm like, oh, and I get very, as you can see on the live stream, I get excited really quickly.
Right.
Oh my God, because I've never been the assist before. I've never been down to two. And I'm like, oh my God, it's me and Joshua. Oh my God, like let's. So on loop 25, I was trying to remain calm. I still felt good. I felt fine. My nutrition was good. I'm really into David Roche and his high carb, high calorie stuff. My carbs were going in. I was taking 100 grams of carbs. I was taking calories. I felt good. We came around 25, and this is a little interesting piece. Zoe just got 25 done. Like Joshua ran with her to help her around. She just got 25 done. She was in pieces. So we all come in on 25. I sit down, I get ready, and I stand up. And as we get to the corral, Zoe stands up, but she looks in pieces, like she's been helped into the corral.
Mm.
And Joshua is talking to the race organizer. And the bell goes. Zoe just can't move and hugs me. And I'm like, okay. And I set to go. And I look at Joshua and he says to me, Ned. So Joshua was injured. He'd been covering it up a bit, but i.e., he'd just been trying. He hadn't been complaining. He's such a great guy. He had been just keeping it to himself. He'd been injured a bit. And he said, Ned, I'm injured. And also, I don't want to go back to Bigs this year.
Right.
So on you go.
Yeah.
And honestly, I even get a little emotional back then, I get emotional pretty easy. I was like, wait, what? Because, 24 is long and my brain wasn't scrambled, but it was a bit, I'm going to big, wait. And I said to Josh, come on. Because, backyard, everyone loves everyone in backyard. I want him to come more. Like, I want him to do something. And I'm like, and I kind of held him for a little bit. I'm like, Joshua, you can. And honestly, of course I wanted to win and go to bigs. I'll take it. 26, like, I'll take it. But I kind of wanted a battle. That's what backyard is. You want the two of you, right? And if it had been a true battle, look, Joshua's done 72 and I've done 24, he would have kicked my butt. But I was like, and I stood there and people were clapping, and people know in Singapore how much I love it. And, I think there was quite a lot of happiness and love that I was going to get to go. And honestly, like, it was a pretty tearful loop by myself. I knew I would make it, and I came around and it was amazing. And I was, definitely a little overwhelmed with it all. And here's the crazy thing, Pato, and you're a statistician of the sport. Only 50 countries get to go to bigs, the top 50. There were 67 countries competing. I actually didn't exactly know that. And I just thought, oh, wow, I've qualified. Amazing. 26.
Mm.
Turns out that if I'd done one loop less, it was only 25 that qualified. If Zoe hadn't got round, or Joshua hadn't got round 25, 25 probably would not have. We were the 48th country to qualify. So 17 national champs didn't get to go because there's only 75 spots at bigs, 25 at large, 50. So there was a bit of relief later when I realized, oh my God, I do get to go. I just qualified by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I felt really good on 26, man. I was like, okay, I can go much further.
Yeah, awesome. So, everyone who runs at Bigs wants to run their best ever race. So, how did you prepare for the race so that you're in the best shape possible for Bigs?
So not long after the Sat Champs, I moved to Bali just for life reasons, and I commute to backwards in Singapore. And for after the Sat Champs, I didn't train too much, took a month calm, then had Christmas. So in January, I was like, right, I'm going to get back to it. Pato, I didn't run a step from January to May. I was
Right.
injured. January, February, March, April, May. I was
Yeah.
injured. I
Yeah.
have a sciatica. I get these numb legs from a referral from my back. I was swimming. I was a bit sad. And honestly, in January, I'm like, oh, it'll be right. In February, I'm like, oh, it comes to April, May. I haven't run. Honestly, Pato, I thought I just wasn't going to Bigs. I
Right.
thought that was that. I'm out. I can't, if you don't run the whole year, you can't go to Bigs, right? Like that's
Yeah.
just like and you have to be fair and give up your spot to somebody who passionately wants it. I passionately want it, but just starting in May, June, I started to get running. I'd be doing a lot of pool running. So I run in the pool, I get in the pool and I run up and down, and it's not much fun. Anybody listening? It's no fun running in the pool, but keeps you moving. And I started, and maybe in May I ran 50 or 100K. In June I ran 250K. And then July, August, September, I was running just off 500K, 480K. I was up at 4:30 a.m. 6 days a week. I swam because I think it helps my back
Mm.
every morning in the ocean. I was doing 100 biggest week was 170, averaging 120,
What, is that
swimming. Sorry?
is that kilometers in? Is that how much you were swimming or how much you were
No,
running?
no, running, Pato.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I swam 1K every morning, so six
Oh,
mornings a week. I
yeah.
trained 6 mornings a week. Again, I didn't eat any crap. I'd back off the cakes and the biscuits. Super clean eating, dialed. And so it was my biggest 4 months ever in my life. So I was averaging just under 500K plus 1K of swimming every morning, plus nearby where I live in Bali, I have a really good sauna and ice bath. I do it every single day, 6 days a week. And I was running, so probably, yeah, I mean, just under 20K a day, so 6 days a week with
Yeah.
some big weekends. I did a few simulations, a 15-hour loop. And this will haunt me, well, not haunt me, but I was telling anybody who listen, I don't think the big course is that hilly. I don't.
Right.
I think it's trippy and hard.
Yeah.
It's 144 meters in elevation, the biggest course. I had a course here that was 220 meters.
Mm.
So I mapped out my own 220-meter elevation run course here, and we'll just go at it again. And remember, I'm in the tropical heat, so I would go at it and at it and at it, and I would do simulations, and I had a night course
Mm.
here, I had a day course.
Yeah.
So I trained super hard and felt very fortunate to be as ready as I could be.
Yeah. So I've been to Bali once and it didn't really seem like the most runner friendly place. So what's it like running like that much in Bali?
So I live in a place called Jimbaran. Jimbaran, if you have this map of Bali for anyone listening, but there's a little bucket at the bottom. There's a little kind of piece of land. If you look at Bali, you'll see there's an extra kind of adjoined piece of land at the bottom. And I live on there. It's much less busy. And where I live in Jimbaran, we have a headland that's not developed.
Mm.
So I'm very lucky. I have, when I say kilometers, I have like in three different directions from me, within 500 meters of my door, I have 6 to 8K of jungle trails with not a human on
Yeah.
in the trails, right from 500 meters from my door, away from the traffic. And I do those same three loops again and again. So there's a 6K loop in one direction, six in the other, six in the other. And where I live, we're up on some cliffs, not very high cliffs, but maybe a total of 80 to 100 meters in elevation. And the paths go up and in the valley. So I have valleys,
Yeah.
cliffs. So I come down the cliffs, through the valleys, up the cliffs, on these windy paths, back down, up, down. I'm just very lucky. You're right. If you come to Bali, and I'm not going to say as an Australian, a lot of Australians come to Bali, go to Kuta or Canggu or these places that are full of traffic, it's not runner friendly.
Yeah.
But where I live, it is. And if you get into the middle of Bali, our tallest volcano here is 3,600 meters.
Mm.
So we have real elevation. You just got to get away. Your point is right, Pato. It's not obvious where to run. If you come here on holiday, it just feels like motorbikes, crazy dogs, traffic, insanity. If you know where to look, amazing trails.
Yeah, awesome. And as far as running in around where you are in the jungle, like what kind of animals? Like, are there monkeys and snakes everywhere? What's it like?
The answer is yes, there are monkeys, not so many snakes. When I lived in Singapore, because that's right on the equator, and there are a lot of jungle trails, lots of snakes. Like I have nearly stepped on any number of snakes. Like I'm not
Right.
going to say, once a month when I'm running in Singapore, you'll see a snake,
Yeah.
from huge pythons to cobras, lots of monkeys. In Bali, so what do I see every day? Cows all over the place, monkeys. Uh, but the biggest thing in Bali is the dogs, right? We
Yeah.
have a lot of stray dogs, and they just know if you're scared.
Right.
Before I lived here, I was scared of the dogs,
Yeah.
and they know, and they run after you, like, oh no.
Yeah.
With the dogs, you just turn around and go, no, and
Yeah.
they run away. So I think if you ran here and suddenly had dogs chasing you, it would be a little stressful because they do bite.
Right.
But the hierarchy, once you tell them,
Yeah.
no, they stop. And so the dogs are the biggest issue for running, and it took me a while to understand them. And yeah, look, I've lived in the jungle for 25 years now, so monkeys, snakes, little lizards, dogs, cows. I'm all good now.
Yeah. Excellent. So, okay, so you went to Biggs. Who did you take to crew for you?
So I took Marcus Nurk. Marcus is a good friend from Singapore. I worked in finance for a long time. He did too. A younger guy. He's just under 40. We became good friends. He also runs a running gel company. He's a German guy who lived in Asia, gave up finance, found it pretty soulless, moved to Vietnam, and he runs a running gel business called Leca, which is pure fruit from the markets of Vietnam into running gels. And I'm a small investor in that. I've helped him with it. And we had started a podcast together. He had lived in Vietnam, then back to Germany, and 9 months ago moved to California.
Hmm.
So a dear friend who we've talked a lot, we've done running podcasts together, and I'll be honest, at first I wasn't sure who to take as crew because I think it's quite a big thing to go and see Laz, like this is, and it was just swirling in my head because I've run with a lot of people. And then suddenly it was super obvious. I'm like, oh my God, of course, Marcus.
Yeah.
Two reasons. Love the guy, know him super well. We talk about running. He's German and organized. I'm completely disorganized. I was like, that dude. So he was very happy to come. He's in the running business. Like his whole job is, in the running business as well. So he actually visits Western states, UTMB, more from a commercial side. And he loves running. And he was like, I'll come from
Oh,
California. So I was like, done.
yeah. Oh, he would have been in heaven.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
So it was definitely the best backyard ultra field ever assembled. So who were some of the runners you were most excited to meet and run with?
My God, my fanboy state comes out even more. I have, I've listened to, without being a fanboy of you, Pat, I've listened to every episode. I've listened to, particularly before you started, I used to listen to people on, because Phil would be on another show, Harvey would be on another show, all of this. So when the number one, I think, is Harvey, in that when the 10 allocation was done, I'm the 74th ranked guy, so I get to choose 74th.
Yeah.
Fully understandable. I totally agree. Phil gets first, I get almost last. Completely fair. And when it was my turn to choose the spot next, not in Harvey's tent, but the tent next door, I was like, wait, I get to go next door to Harvey? How does, like, what? I was like, this is so sick. So super excited to meet Harvey, definitely to meet Phil. I'm a huge fan of the Belgians and being a 58-year-old guy. I mean, let's pause for a minute and appreciate Evo. He's
Mm.
55.
Yeah.
Like, dude's 55.
Yeah.
And, Jennifer Russo, who I didn't get a lot of time to chat with, didn't really get much time to say hello. So definitely some of the older runners who have been doing Jennifer Russo at 59 to do, what'd she do at Dead Cow, Pato? 74?
I think it was yeah, I think it was 70, it was 70, it might have been 73 or 74. I'd have to check, but yeah, it was
But,
an
but
amazing run.
What an amazing, and and then so look, I was definitely keen to meet the superstars of our port. I've actually interviewed Sam Harvey on my own podcast about a
Yeah,
year ago.
yeah,
So I knew I'd been messaging Sam and he knew he was injured. I knew Sam knew he was injured, so it would be great to meet Sam. But of course, to meet Laz. I have watched every single thing, followed him, and I like his apart from just to meet Laz, his philosophy that you only learn by not finishing, without getting into it. It's been pretty public. I had a startup that failed in a pretty big way. And
mm,
I remember it really hurt. Like it was a brutal experience, but I think it's made me a better person. Like I really do. I really do. And I wanted just to share a few words with Laz about, I think, I think he's helped a lot of people and he's definitely helped me with this idea that, I know it's cliched, oh, you only learn from hard things or whatever, but
mhm,
like Laz took his time to put those on for us. Like he
yeah,
created this for us and super thankful for that. And yeah, just, to spend some time at Laz. And I think, as I said in one of my interviews during the course, like reality doesn't exist anymore.
mm,
This little square space, it Biggs is the only place in the world, and I just want to live there. And whoever was in that space, I was happy to talk to.
yeah, yeah, excellent. So what was the backbone of your strategy? Like, was there a particular aspect of the race that you were most focused on getting right?
The 55, 56 minute loops on the day course.
Mm,
I was pretty much the last guy coming in, either last or a few away from the last. So timing, not rushing. I'm not a quick guy anyway anymore, but not rushing.
yeah,
Really focused on that. But the other part was nutrition. I've only started figuring out protein, so I'm pretty good with my carbs, pretty good with my calories. I have a pretty good stomach, but protein, a good friend of mine really encouraged me to add protein powder, 25 grams every 4 hours.
oh,
So I really wanted to get that in. And I think it made a massive difference. So nutrition and pacing, but also keeping calm.
yeah,
I I love talking to people, but I have to be careful because it distracts energy. If you're chatting, like Meg is amazing. I chatted to Meg. She has energy to chat, but I'm like, Ned, one loop, every loop is loop one. Me and Marcus said loop one. We never counted. Loop one, Ned, loop one. Stay to yourself, keep calm. Because I can get carried away and excited and
yeah.
forget to do stuff, and that's the problem. So, yeah, that was my strategies.
Cool. Now, with the protein, did you say you just added a powder to add protein, or what did you actually add to your?
Protein, no, protein. I brought a bag of what muscle people buy, which is
Right.
pure protein powder, and
Yeah.
every 4 hours, I had a 25-gram scoop in
Yep.
a cup of water.
Yep.
So that's equivalent to 6 grams of protein an hour, but I
Okay.
took it every 4 hours.
Okay, excellent. And most people were sharing their marquees with other runners. Were you sharing your marquee with anyone else?
Stefan Wilfinger,
Oh,
who,
yeah.
as you may know, was on the best fantasy team.
Yeah.
He was, oh my God, we got so lucky. Like, what a dude. From Austria, Stefan and his wife Doris. And my crew member Marcus is German, and Austrian Germans both speak German. So
Right.
they were very happy. Like, do you remember Stefan? He's got the Mohican. He
Yeah.
would jump
And he was
every
fist bump. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just full of life, Pato. So grateful, so excited. Just a great dude. His wife was amazing though. But here was the funny thing. He was quick. So his wife, Doris, she was the crew member and his father-in-law, but mainly Doris. He would come in with 17 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
So his transition was calm. Doris would give him stuff. And then I would come in with 4 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And I said to Marcus, what's it like being crew? He's like, well, for me and Doris, it's two completely different things,
Yeah.
you know. But he was a lovely guy. And, he went far. He can, I think I'm biased because I chatted to him a lot. He's a 100 loop guy one day.
Yeah, he looked impressive, that's for sure. Very impressive. Yeah. And what was your mindset like in the days leading into it, like into the race? Yeah.
I mean, like it's Christmas. Like I was Christmas. It was so exciting, Pato. And my daughter lives in Manhattan,
Yeah.
and my son lives in Washington. I arrived the weekend before, and I had the weekend with my daughter in Manhattan, in New York. You know, she actually had a party on her roof. So I was sitting on, I wasn't drinking, I don't drink, but I was sat on her roof. She's 25, listening to a band in New York. I'm like, oh my God, like life's just sweet. I'm with my daughter. She's got a band on her roof.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out in New York, sipping coffees, getting ready for the race. I mean, I felt super grateful. I got to Tennessee on the Tuesday. I was so excited. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. Like it's like a kid before Christmas. I'm pacing around. And then I went to the course on Thursday. I messaged Sandra and Laz and said, I know we're setting up on Friday, but can I come and walk the course on Thursday? Sandra said yes. And she told me how to do it. She said, park down at the end, walk up, walk through the camp, and you'll see a yellow tape. Turn left, and that's it. And I'm like, how will I follow the course? It's really obvious. Like I'm not going to say you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So I walked the course on Thursday. I drove the day course. I'll be honest, Pato, there was no one there. I just sat there like a Biggs by myself on Thursday.
Yeah. And did you go on the Thursday just because you couldn't wait, or what was the reason for going? Yeah, yeah,
I was like, hey, look, I don't want to be defeatist because we can talk about this at the end. I want to go back. So, you know, I have to believe I can. But let's also be real. I'll be 60 then. And from my readings, no 60-year-old's ever done big. So I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, but I don't think a 60-year-old has done it. I want to go back. But look, it's very Joshua wants to go back as well. So we're going to have a showdown in Singapore
yeah,
next year. You know, and the money's on Joshua, not me. But hey, I did it once, so I've got to believe, man. But I just wanted, I'll be honest, I walked the course. I'm just sitting there in case Laz walked by. You know, honestly, I was just like,
yeah.
I'm just hanging out. Because otherwise, what am I going to do? Go back to Murfreesboro, which is the town nearby, and what, sit in my room and watch backyard videos? I might
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Did you go to look at the Yellow Gate as well?
I did, and I thought about it, but it's 2.5 hours away, right? And there's a guy from Vietnam, Trung, who was there. He actually used to live in Singapore, so we know him.
Yeah.
He did. Trung came to Tennessee 2 weeks early. He
Oh,
wants to go to Berkeley, so he actually was on the Berkeley area. He went to the Yellow Gate. I did look, but it's 2.5 hours away, and you know, for me, this was. I can't do Berkeley because I can't navigate. I'm not a navigator.
hmm.
I don't want to learn. I love Berkeley, and sure, if life gave me a spot, I would have a crack, but I'm just not a navigator, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, you did mention the thing about setting a goal before, like once you set a goal and hit it, then people generally stop. So, but did you set yourself a target or goal for bigs?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to say yes. So,
Yeah.
I, in my delusional mind, I was like, oh, what if I could do 72 and beat Joshua? But I knew that was like delusional. But my real goal was this. You know, my best is 28, right? So I was like, I knew in my soul, if I stopped in the 20s, I'd be really sad. Like on that stage, I'd be sad. I thought if I get in the 30s, it's okay. And maybe this played a bit. I thought, you know, 40s is okay, but my goal was 50. Like
Right.
my goal was 48 or 50. That was my goal. I knew it was hard. You know, that's almost not double, but it's a big bit above. But I did have that. Get into the third day, 48 hours. That was what I, in my deep heart, wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, was this the first race or first backyard ultra you'd ever done with a day and night loop?
Correct.
Yeah. And how did you find the trail?
This, everybody had told me it's super hilly. I mean, I only did 11 loops because I didn't get back to it because obviously
Yeah.
we had the rain. And I told a few people, and I spoke to some people. I spoke to Will Hayward. I spoke to Dave Kwiatkowski. I spoke to Joshua. And when I told them I didn't think it was that hilly, they all replied the same thing. It gets hillier on the second and third day for sure. And I'm
Right.
like, fair enough. It's rolling. It's no big steep hills. It's rolling. It's it's in the woods. There's no views. When people say it's beautiful, it's a beautiful feeling. There's no views. It's just in the woods. I thought it was flowy and beautiful. It made me think of a mountain biking track where people want you to flow down, up, round, turn. You go past Laz's house. But what struck me on Thursday, Pato, I'm walking, I had my jeans, my trainers, a t-shirt, a cup of coffee. I tripped and fell with walking with a cup of coffee.
Oh,
I
really?
tripped and fell.
Yeah. And did you fall while during the race as well?
No, because I was, so I had this little saying in my head, Tootsies and Footsies. I
Yeah.
kept all the way around, I was like, Tootsies and Footsies, look, 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 because you're seeing people trip. So did I stumble, catch my toe and oh shit, and nearly stumble and nearly grab? And yes, every loop I caught my toe, despite being completely focused on my tootsies and footsies, feet and toes, and tried not to. But that trail, like it's got little things you can't see, and I'm colorblind. So I'm what's called red-green colorblind. So I don't see the difference between red, brown, and green. So
Right.
on that trail, I don't see rocks in the same way. I don't see roots in the same way. Like
Yeah.
my color perception is much lower than others. So everything kind of blended in. So I've got to be dialed in.
Mm.
What I found was I was very slow on the downs. So I was already at the back,
Yeah.
not last, and on the downs. So by the 1 kilometer mark in the woods, I was last every loop.
Right.
I'm a decent hiker. I'm good uphill. And I would bridge back up to the backpack. On the way up, I'd bridge back up and I'd catch them. On the down, they're all gone.
Yeah.
So that was my feeling. It was up and down, but very comfortable, 56 minutes. And funny thing is, on the first loop, I came in with Phil because he does a famous first loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said to my crew, oh, I came in with Phil. Maybe we'll win this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looked like it was a warm day, and everyone said it was a warm day, but I mean, that you'd be pretty acclimatized to that warm kind of weather, right?
I even joked to the camera, can you send gloves and a jacket? This is not warm.
Right.
I don't want to sound like a douchebag. It was not warm. It was, for me,
Yeah.
it was not warm. No,
Yeah.
it was, I train in 32, 34C, 90% humidity. I think it was 27, 28. Sure, it was a warm day. Did it have any effect on me? Absolutely none.
Yeah, perfect. But that night was hardcore. It was obviously warm, but when that rain came down, that was pretty heavy, and it just
That
didn't
was
stop.
no messing rain. Like, and I'd come back into camp, like there was rivers running through camp. The camp was in our little tent was muddy. But you ask about strategy. I think as we all get older in life, I don't want to be an old wise man because I'm an old man, but I'm not wise.
Mm.
I've become, with the ups and downs of life, you realize there's things you can affect and things you can't. And I've become quite good at disassociating from things I can't, right? I don't complain about things that happen outside my control. I try to focus on me. It's taken me a long time. So I'm like, the rain is the rain. It's all good. Like it's fine. And I'm not gonna say it didn't phase me. I grew up in Scotland, walking to school in the rain and the snow. We grew up kind of not self-sufficient, but kind of. My dad's view was, we didn't have, my dad wasn't a big fan of central heating. He thought cold made you stronger and we blah, blah, blah. And his view was the weather's never bad, just change your attitude.
Yeah.
And I love that phrase and I was fine. Like I thought it was totally fine.
Yeah. Perfect. But when were you fine with staying on the road for the extra on for day two?
Oh, seriously, while I say I don't worry about things I can't control, as I came in loop 23 and 24, it never crossed my mind that we would stay on the day course because I just didn't know that was part of the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to get timed out. I'm just going to get timed out. Loop 25, we're done. Because I'm getting around the day course in the dry in 56.
Yeah.
I would not have got round. It was still pouring. I would have been bottlenecked, slippy, rivers. I just thought, hey, and again, tried not to get stressed. It just is what it is now. Like I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to get round, but this is gonna be really tough. I came into the tent. I sat down. I did not say it because I want to manifest it. I just thought, look, I'll do my best. I stood up and I heard Laz announcing, we are on the day course. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's, like, because it gave me more life.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be 1 hour.
Well,
Came back in and Laz said, this could take a while. I'm like, again, not under my control. Just do what I'm told. You know, I write a lot. I have a bit of a LinkedIn following. This is how I'm a sales guy who does sales training. I have a following on LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn, my message is sell more. Why? Well, it's like ultra running. Just try harder, go more. So I use my ultra running presence and as like a manifestation of doing more, and but also don't worry about other things out of your control. But I remember thinking, oh my God, like this, I'm going to be able to do more now. Like this is okay. And Laz said, we might not be back on the day course this afternoon. And I was like, oh my God, this is fine. Don't get too excited about this because I love the day course. Like I'm really not sad, but I wish I'd had more time on the day course. I loved it. But yeah, each extra day is going to get harder to get around. So yeah, I was happy on the day course.
Yeah, excellent. And who were some runners that you got to know a bit out there?
So there's a couple I knew online. David Christopher from Malaysia. He was in the tent next to me. He's obviously geographically next to me, so we ran quite a
Yeah.
bit. I talked to Dave Kwiatkowski a bit. I had one of the famous loops with Meg Ecker. Meg had spoken to everybody, and I had a loop talking to Meg. But you know who stands in my mind? And I've got to tell you this story, Pato. You're going to love it, man.
Yeah.
Is Bagman, is Mishi. Like
Right.
Mishi, he's such a nice human. Like I have this phrase, I only want one thing from people: to be good humans, be kind, be nice. Don't care who you are, what you have, what you do. Just everyone can be kind. He's a beautifully kind soul. And I got to chat to him a bit. His English is, really good, not perfect, but really good. And we chat. He's given up his job to be a professional backyarder, right? So he's quit his job. His wife works at Deloitte's. He wants to be a back, he gives out on the back of my computer here that I'm talking to you on. I have my sticker. So I
Yeah.
have my Bagman. I have my sticker.
Yeah.
So we've spoken a bit. And then on one loop at night, he runs up to me because sometimes he runs a bit slower.
Mm.
He comes up to me and he says, Ned-san. That's, in Japan, you say san, Ned-san. He said, Ned-san. I said, yeah. Mishi. He said, you are sweating. I said, yeah, Mishi, yeah. Because I sweat quite a bit. It's at night. And he turns to me, as we're running, he says, may I? I'm like, may you what, Mishi? He says, may I mist you? He reaches into his bag of tricks.
Yeah.
He's got a little mister, like a water spray mister. And he brings it out and he says, I can cool you down, Ned-san. And he gets a little mist spray of water and mists my face as we're running along. I almost burst into tears, not because of the mist, because of the kindness of that young man. Like he has extra gels for people. He has mist spray for people. I was like, Mishi, like, you're a special dude,
Yeah.
man. I was like, that's so cool. So
Yeah.
Mishi was great. I spoke to Evo a bit. I had
Oh,
some
yeah.
really nice. Oh, and one other guy, Matt Blackburn. Matt was coming out of the bell. Matt was slow. And I don't know if you noticed, I wear shirts, not this shirt, but I wear shirts when I run.
Yeah.
And Matt was fascinated by because I changed it 4 times. I have a shirt strategy, which I can tell you, but I have a shirt strategy. And Matt was pretty fascinated by it. So each loop he'd ask me when the next shirt was coming. So Matt was great.
Yeah, yeah. I heard Matt asking Laz about like his dress sense and Matt. It sounds like Matt Blackburn's interested in what people wear. So, but yeah, tell me about your shirt strategy.
These Rabbit Running. So the company that makes, they're a running apparel company in America.
Mm.
5 years ago, they started making these, it's not this shirt, but button-down shirts that are made of dry fit running fabric. They're just designed as, with pockets and they look like a shirt.
Yeah.
And the idea is in the cool American Colorado, you can run a bit and then go to the coffee shop in your shirt. Now, my wife brought me one for Christmas one time. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. In Singapore, they get soaked. But I really like them. It just felt cool to run. And what I noticed, when you run in a shirt, people talk to you. They're like, oh, hey, or if you stop. And I like talking to people. And Rabbit kept coming out with more shirts, Hawaiian shirts, shirts with donuts on. And it became a thing. And as I started to build my little LinkedIn presence using running, I became, oh, that's Ned, the guy that runs in a shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is a thing. And then at Sat Champs, I wanted to go 24 loops. And I just came up with this idea. Okay, first 6 loops, I'll wear my Hawaiian shirt because that's for chill. Don't get excited, Ned, just chill. The second 6 hours, I wear my donut shirt to remind me to get the calories in.
Yeah.
The third 6 hours, I wear my plaid shirt like this, like a check shirt, because it's time to get to work. Let's focus. And my last, I have a Marcus, my crew, went to Western States, not to race, but to watch. And Western States have these special Western States championship shirts in orange, and they put your initials on the side. So Marcus very kindly got me one with NP, Western States champion. And I do that in the last 6 hours to be a champion. And I rotate it. But when I came to Bigs, I said, no, not 6 hours, every 12. Yeah. So at Bigs, 12 hours Hawaii chill, 12 hours donuts to remind myself to get food, 12 hours to get to work. So at hour 37, I changed to my orange championship shirt, dreaming to take it through to 48, in which case I go back again and I start again. But I didn't get through my last shirt, but I did get to wear all 4 shirts.
Yeah, awesome. Now you did mention that you you run your loops a bit slower, and when you are slower, you see all the action, I think, because you're seeing all the people who are struggling to get in on time and things like that. So with you running towards the back, what kind of things did you see back there?
I mean, I would recommend it to everybody. It was awesome. You see the people so huge. Like I saw Hendrick, who got 100, but on loop. Well, it must have been before 11 because I saw him in the woods vomiting.
Right.
Like, oh my God, Hendricks. And he came in after me and I'm like, wow. I saw the Polish guy with a beard. Not Lukasz, but I saw Lukasz as well. He was vomiting and struggling on the trails. As mentioned to you, because I listened to your stat show, I think Bartos was slow on that first 9 because both the Polish guy with the beard and Lukasz, Bartos was walking with them. I overtook Bartos one time. I'm like, look at me. Yeah. Look, I'm a legend. Yeah. Bartos was helping, and I could tell the Polish guys were teaming up and really trying. And the guy with the beard came back. I saw the big group hug when Lukasz started his last loop, and they'd gone maybe half a kilometer, and all the Polish guys stopped together, and I'm last coming down the hill, and they all had a big hug. Yeah, I saw... I saw Harvey pee a lot. So right. Harvey pees a lot, and and he's slower on the trail. So I ran a lot with Harvey because he would stop and pee. I would overtake him. He would come past me. We had a nice chat. I had a nice chat with Harvey. So I saw Harvey doing his thing. You get to see these stories where everybody struggles at backyard, right? Everybody, and what I saw? I saw Phil's slow loop every 4 loops because he would come back to me. And what I realized is Phil seems like an amazing guy, but he is in the moment. Like he's not like Meg who wants to chat or Mishi Bagman who wants to chat. Harvey is very chatty. He's dialed. He's in. And I never tried to disturb. Just runs by. I didn't try to keep up with him or whatever, but I know we're not tennis or football. I know I'm not playing tennis with Federer or football with Messi, but what other sports do I get to go and hang out? Hey, look, you said he was the GOAT. I think it's not debatable, right? Right now, he's the GOAT of our sport. Yeah. And I get to hang out, run a couple of... So that's what I felt, being a Bigs, but being at the back, you get to see a lot of stories. It was amazing.
Yeah, awesome. So as far as your race goes, when did you start noticing things were beginning to feel a bit harder?
Good question. Interestingly, talking about people vomiting in the woods on loop 17, 18, I struggled to eat. And for like 3 loops, I didn't get much in. And I know me, I need calories. I was like, God damn. But then I came back. It happened on loop 34 or 5. We were on the day course, obviously, because I didn't get back to the night. I was on the night course that was now the day course. Confusing. But I think people listening to this know what we mean. I would walk every 9 minutes, I walk approximately a minute. So I had certain places. And that was bringing me in 52, 53 on the road. Loop 35, that brought me in at 54-ish.
Yeah.
Loop 36, that was bringing me in 55. I'm like, oh crap. Like I can't start to walk anymore. Like this is getting away from me. And I made this conscious decision. I put these kind of hardcore music in my ears.
Mm.
I took extra couple of caffeine pills. I've been taking a few. And
Yeah.
I said to myself, Ned, you have to run every step now because you're not going to make it back. But I could feel it damaging me. Like I could really feel the effort.
Yeah.
I felt like I was sprinting. I was going at 8 minutes per K, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, ah. And,
Yeah.
and it got down to 4 or 5 degrees that night.
Mm.
I could feel it rasping, like I could, and a couple of people commented as I came past them. I was like, and and my muscles were getting tighter, and I went 54, 55, 56. And what Marcus noticed, as you saw on the cameras, I love to chat. And I was always chatting to Marcus. At loop 35, he said, Ned, you didn't say a word. Loop
Right.
36, you were just staring straight down at the esky, like you were barely you weren't saying a
Yeah.
word. And I could really tell that it was all of my effort to get back in on time. And I was, yeah, like I knew I was pushing to an end here. Like this
Yeah.
wasn't up to loop 33, 4, it felt not steady state, but steady state-ish, given I'm tired and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as it was 35, 6, 7, it was no longer steady state. I was pushing to exhaustion and it would come.
Yeah. And so did you push yourself into an area that you hadn't felt in a backyard ultra before?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I think so. I only had 3 3-minute sleeps. So I had 3 3-minute sleeps. Look, I've only been awake for 45 hours because, we get up early in the morning. But I got into this like zone, really nothing mattered. Like I had my little torch, head down. On the last two loops, I found myself in the grass. So I'm coming on the road and I found myself running in the grass and I was shaking my head, trying to run up the hill on the way back.
Mm.
At one point, my legs, I'm not going to say buckled, but I was like, and I was really fighting them. And yeah, it was amazing. Like I felt really good. Like I really felt like I was fighting,
Yeah.
fighting. Like I'm gonna, there is an end coming, and like I don't want it to come because if it comes, I've got to go back to reality. And I love my life and I love everything, but I want to stay in this world. I don't want to go out of this world. And there was a mixture of desperation to not let it happen, but a realization. And yeah, that felt really good. Like it felt really good to be there.
Yeah. Awesome. And did you start loop 41?
Yes, I did. I came in, I had 2.5 minutes. Well, I came in at 56 something. But as I came up the hill on loop 40, I was stuck. Like I could really feel stumbling. And I was actually putting my hand on my head and I was trying to be like, come on, stop. And those, I don't have bad thoughts. I think I'm mentally strong, but there's bad thoughts. There's bad thoughts, like this is hard and not this is hard. That's the wrong thoughts, but come on. As soon as the bell went on 41, like I was really just struggling to get into a run. This is the 20 meters to get out onto the road.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of veered off towards the grass and somebody, I don't know who, put their hand on my shoulder and pushed me back onto the road.
Mm.
And as I tried to run down the hill, it was kind of buckling and people were getting away from me. And, I get emotional pretty quick, particularly then. People had all got away more than before. And I couldn't keep up. And, that trigger went, oh, they've gone. And there's a turnaround. So on the day course we go out and there's a thing painted on the road. There's a turnaround, which on the night you go past, that's maybe 400 meters away.
Yeah.
I got there and my watch said 6 minutes for 400 meters.
Yeah.
And I stopped. And I stopped I knew, and I looked in the distance and I could see the torches going away and I'm like, no. And I tried to run a bit more and I knew, and I couldn't really run. And then honestly, Pato, I just stopped and I stood
Mm.
and I looked back up the hill and I'm like, oh, I want to go back. But it was freezing. It was like 5 degrees. Like it was freezing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cold as.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to shiver. And the minute you turn to go back up the hill, and I was definitely, I was sad, exhilarated, proud, everything cold.
Yeah,
And it took me, I think I came back in with, it took me 16 minutes to do the 800 meters to the turnaround and back.
yeah,
So I don't think I was making it out.
yeah.
I don't think there was something in me that said walk all the way out to the far end, but I was shivering. I
Mm,
couldn't really think about it. And, I'm already, by the time I stopped, I was maybe 8 minutes to the turnaround. So the 400-meter turnaround, the little turnaround
yeah,
that's the day. So I'm like, all right, that's it. We're done here.
yeah. Yeah, I think it does sound like it was a cold night that second night. I think it actually got down to almost zero.
I mean, it was. And you know what? I told Marcus, I went out in just my shirt, nothing
Right.
else. I didn't want any comfort, like loop 38, 39. Like it was screwed up face, like, oh, like bite down.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting many calories in. I had this like thumping music in my ears, like, rage music, like, ah. And, honestly, Pato, I remember feeling like I was charging, like charging.
Yeah.
And Strava says 820 per K.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you stick around and stay till the end of the race?
Oh, 1,000,000%. So
Yeah, yeah,
went back to the hotel, tried to sleep, but not very good because I had caffeine and things. Marcus went back to California. He's just had a baby, so he had to go back home. And I came back Monday night, and I did go back one night, but apart from that, for the next 60 odd hours, I was there for 45, 50 of the hours the whole way through. It was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. It would have been awesome. Could you believe what you were seeing?
It was so just to watch. I came back to watch them going out again and again and
Yeah,
just see, somebody like Rodolfo, Mexican dude coming in with 50 seconds to spare repeatedly,
mm,
like repeatedly. Watching Harvey, who clearly was suffering. You know the feeling, Pato.
mm,
Every backyard you've done, even if you feel proud, you come away and think, oh man, maybe there was another loop in me, right? I
yeah,
go back and watch these guys.
yeah,
I'm like, this is suffering. I'm watching Phil. And then standing by the fire and look, I spent a long time talking to Lucas.
mm,
What a great guy. What a humble, great, amazing guy. I spoke to Sarah Perry for an hour. And you ready for this? I'm standing by the finish line. Laz is not a guy you kind of just take time from. He has to give it to you, in my opinion, right? He rang the bell, happy time, loop, I don't know, 80.
yeah,
And sometimes he sleeps. I was standing in the east-west tent, just standing. And he walks over and he just happens to stand by me. And he's like, oh, Ned, good job. I'm like, thanks, man.
yeah,
And we spent 1 hour just talking about backyard, what it means in the future, should it commercialize, Laz's previous, he's a 119 half marathoner back in his day. So he has a 119 half. We talked about it. I had 1 hour just standing, talking to Laz by the finish line. And then I got to watch, the single moment, watching Hendrick, watching John Knoll get
yeah,
100, so special.
yeah,
I had one very stressful moment. John Knoll's wife, Kendra, who supports solo, asked me to help a little bit.
yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, what if I mess up? What if I stop John? Oh my God. Like I was so nervous. I just had to hand him a bottle, but I was crewing's hard, Pato. Jesus, I don't, crewing's too much. But when Phil put his arm round Evo and said, one more, Evo, oh, it's beautiful. Like, beautiful. Phil's amazing. He's the GOAT. I've spoken to Evo. He is so kind and lovely and just such an amazing dude. And to watch Evo go out one more time. And then, when Phil did his last loop, Evo leaped up as if he was going to do another one.
yeah, yeah,
Just to watch all of that happen and talk to Mishi and Sarah Perry and Lukash and Sam and I didn't want to leave, man. I didn't want to leave. It was
sure.
great.
You mentioned you had a conversation with Laz about backyards and if they're going to become commercialized and things like that. So, what's your opinion about that side of things? Now you've been to Biggs and you've had that conversation with Laz.
I think we're all aware that there's an appeal to backyard outside just runners. I'm sure, Pato, when you've run, non-runners follow, online. I found at Biggs, I had a lot of support from non-runners. I don't think non-runners would watch a 100-mile trail race. I think backyard's just going to keep growing. I don't think Laz is aware of this and aware. I don't want to speak for Laz, but Laz doesn't need the money. He's happy in his place. But let's face it, backyard is his creation and it's growing. And I think he's definitely aware that it needs some structure. And he's got some great guys like Naresh, Gavin Woody, Good and Bad Mike, all these guys around. And I think, from what I can tell, I mean, look at the quality of this YouTube stream. It was amazing with Tanagram Films and the photographers. I think there's a sense with the people close that they're, the more structure, the better, because backyard's going to keep growing. It has a life of its own. This will continue more so than Barkley is Laz. Backyard can continue, I'm not going to say with or without Laz, but it is growing of its own. What's my opinion? I would love all backyards to come under Biggs. Nick Bear's Backyard Ultra, there's no rule to say you can't do your own, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
of course I'm biased. I want it all to be backyard, right? And I think it will, so my gut feeling is it will stay as much as it is organized under Biggs. I hope everybody rolls up to that, not from a commercial point of view, just from a culture of the sport point of view. But I do think there's a danger that they just start popping up everywhere. I don't know, Pato, is it a danger that other people organize it on their own terms? It's not an easy question to answer.
I mean, I used to think so. I used to think, we need all backyard ultras to be affiliated with Biggs and things like that. But yeah, look, now I'm kind of thinking, I just don't know. But I don't think there's anything wrong with someone organizing a backyard ultra on their own and for it not being affiliated with Biggs. And especially if people like Nick Bear, they're so good at promoting their race, that brings a lot of new followers to the format and a lot of new fans. Like a lot of people who were commenting on these recent live streams after Go One More, a lot of them are people who have got into it from watching that Go One More Ultra race happen. So yeah, I mean, I'd love a professional league to happen one day. I think that would be pretty cool.
So look, we are still a tiny sport, but running is booming across everywhere. I have a 25-year-old daughter. Her and her friends, don't go drink, they go to run club now, right? Running is having its zeitgeist moment, and ultra as well. And backyard, I think, is this niche that is growing. And look, while we're not a massive sport, look at golf. It had live, and it has, golf and tennis. And I think as a sport grows, these are the growing pains. If we take it to its basic, is it good for people to do backyards? I think the answer is yes. It's good for their soul. Is it a great way to get into ultra running? Yes. And so if we just are as pragmatic as possible, more backyards, the better. And the only thing I would be sad is that if the professional leagues wasn't Biggs, it was something completely different, that would feel a little weird to me.
Yeah.
But in general, more backyards, the better.
Yeah, sounds good. Now, did you see there's a movie being made called Ultra, and it's a psychological thriller set during Badwater 135?
100% I did. And Shailene Woodley, and hey, look, Vado, does Hollywood have a good record of dramatizing things? Not really, right? And I don't know if you see, but a lot of people use an image of Goggins, right? As if Goggins is going to be in the film. I'm like, hold on. I love Goggins, but he's not Goggins is not ultra. Goggins does ultra. Who is ultra? Well, it's Phil, it's Killian, it's Courtney, it's whoever, right? Hey, look. Okay. So I think I have a podcast called One More K, and we actually look at the business of ultra running. So on that show, me and Marcus, we talk to runners and racers, but we talk about people like yourself, people behind the scenes, the media. And Marcus is a stats guy. The stats of running now are booming. Like car manufacturers using ultra runners to advertise their cars. Hollywood. I don't know if you saw at the New York Marathon, Eliud Kipchoge wore that shirt with the holes in. I don't know if you follow Road.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
took that from Caleb Olson, who won Western States. And they said on the broadcast, Eliud Kipchoge, learning from trail running.
Mm.
That wasn't a phrase. That wasn't a phrase before. So I think ultras got into the psyche. Do I think they will probably bastardize that Hollywood movie? Because if you've read it, it's a psychological thriller. There's a person behind her at Badwater who could be a horror figure who's
Yeah.
trying to get her. I'm like, come on, that's not Ultra, right? There's no horror figures in Ultra. We're all total sweethearts, right? Like, but hey, I work in sales. I make a living by marketing and selling stuff. So far be it from me to not tell Hollywood to market and sales. It's a great time to be an ultra. Do I think that will be a great movie? I don't. Will I watch it? Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, there's so many good running documentaries like you can watch for free on YouTube. I don't think you can beat the real thing. I mean, you're seeing real emotion and real stories on these documentaries, like, and they're awesome. You
Breaking
can't,
Breaking Point, Dead Cow Gully, Sam and Phil's first one. As Sam, and I've spoken to Sam about it, that was made by a young man who wasn't even a runner.
Mm,
That I've said that to many non-runners, and they all tear up. They're like, that effort, that rawness,
mm,
that's a great documentary.
yeah. And when you see the footage of Sam Harvey going out to try and finish that 119th yard at Dead Cow Gully this year, you're not going to get something like that in a movie.
I know, I know, right? But
Yeah.
but look, we you mentioned like Nick Bear. The world is about marketing and promotion, and I think backyard. I so to answer your question, Pato, do I think the movie will be as good as the real thing? I do not. But I saw a number, and actually, I'm going to get Stephanie on my show to talk about it. I saw a number that over 200,000 views happened of Big's live stream. Now, whether that was cumulative in total,
There would have
how
been
many?
there would have been over a million for sure because there was usually at least 1,000 people on at a time, and I think it peaked. I don't know what it peaked at, but it would have peaked at a few thousand.
Or I saw 6,000 at one time. I saw
Yeah,
six. Obviously, on the hour it would peak.
yeah,
Backyard in itself will have a lot of viewers, and but so I think I told you I write ultra running poetry. I think I shared my little race report, which I write. I've written a lot of them because at the end of my podcast every week, I do what's called Ned's Drop. I read my little bit of poetry for what it is. I think if ultra running ever gets to the Olympics, and I'm not saying it should, I'm just saying if backyard is the sport that it does. Imagine this, right? While the event is going on in the stadium, we have a 6.7K loop outside the stadium. These gladiators, like the day, battling to the death. Every hour, you could tune on the Olympics channel and see Phil and Lucas and Sam and Harvey and people going, wait, it's Sunday, they're still there? It's Monday, they're still there? I think the dramatization of backyard on a mass scale will capture the psyche better than, but more people will watch the ultra running movie because it's Hollywood and it's ultra. But I think backyard has massive storytelling potential.
yeah. Well, if they make this movie, a good thing that they could do is get cameos from people like Goggins, and that would make us. That would be pretty cool to see little cameos in there from maybe even you.
Well, they'd have to be pretty desperate then, for sure. But the director, the lady, has done Badwater. So to give her credit, it's not like it's just Hollywood people who don't understand this world. From what I can tell, she's done Badwater, and she did already answer a question. She said, "Look, I know the sport, I understand it." She what I heard her say was, she understands it's Hollywood, so she's got to make a movie.
Yeah.
But she understands the sport, so it's not going to be like, oh my God, cringe as they. Sometimes you watch a movie about something you know really well and it's super cringe because they're doing stuff that just makes no sense. Hopefully this, and look, a cameo from Goggins or Courtney or Killian or David Roche or Phil or whoever would be amazing.
Mm. Now you mentioned that you do a poetry drop. Can you give me one now?
I can read my poetry from Biggs. It's 3 or 4 minutes if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Alrighty, man. Let me do it. It's basically, I'm just going to put it up here. Here it is here. So, yeah, just a bit of context. I've always enjoyed writing about endurance events, and I found that I like writing them in these short sentences. I think it's called staccato from a musical thing. So I wrote a little race report. It's about 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe a good way to close it out, if that's okay, Pato.
Yep. And I'll need to get your 3 backyard ultra tips after that.
Let's do it. All right. All right, guys. This is my race report from Biggs, and it's called "We Could Be Heroes," with a little nod to David Bowie. All right, here we go. We could be heroes just for 5 days. We can be us as long as we run. 6.7K an hour, on the hour, every hour, forever. Yeah, but wait, you mean me out there with the big dogs? In whose yard? Sometimes life allows you to step way over the edge. And when you do, without knowing what is there, you find beauty. But the hardest thing is coming back, because in the suffering, you can transcend. Loop 1, tears of emotion. Whose yard? Pigs and Laz. They are both big dogs. Loop 4, heroes, you said. Me, running with Harvey and Phil? Oh yes, dreams and all that. Mine did. Loop 10, tell myself it's always loop 1. Why count? I'm never stopping, just like life. Loop 15, rain, dark, cold rain. Wonderful, amazing, dark, cold rain. It's not the weather, it's your response. Loop 19, finish your plate, all of it, every time. Ultra running is an eating competition. Loop 24, 3 minutes of sleep. Best sleep ever. I feel brand new. Loop 29, one more than my best. Camera in my face. I cry, overwhelmed with the privilege of digging into my soul. Loop 34, I realize this isn't about running. This is the people, the backyard family. Beautiful, kind, savages, all of them. So much love for them. Loop 36, the man, Marcus, my crew, brings my chair to the finish line to save time. Slowly I have less time. Marcus can bend time. I must rush by sprinting as slowly as I can. I charge into the second cold night. Music? Say what, Jesse? No price tag for this. Caffeine? How much is too much? I'll find out next time. Willpower? Yes, you absolutely can. You, not me, you can. Mind over me. I am my effort. 55 minutes, 56 minutes, 57 minutes. Charge, run, push. Yes now, Ned. I am relentless until I am not. Loop 41, the wall wants to stop me. It pushes on my body and my brain. I push it back so hard. I am the wall. This time it wins. I walk back after 500 meters, hug Marcus. He made it possible. And then I stay for the next 3 days as these outstanding humans tell the world what life is about. Ivo, Belgium hero. He ran 750K. He is 55 years old, so much respect. Sarah, huge resolve comes in small humans. She is a giant. Harvey, the heartbeat of backyard. Bagman, he carries a bag of kindness with him every loop. And Phil, from planet Gore, a true alien. He ran for 5 days. And all of them, every racer and crew and staff who makes this happen, we are family. Thank you all for the love. It filled my heart. And finally, Laz, thank you. They say don't meet your heroes. They are wrong. You were way better in person. Thank you for letting me find myself in your yard. One of the true honors of my life. Ned.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you, man.
Well done.
I appreciate it.
I love
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it, Ned. Now, you are bringing out a book of poetry. Is that correct?
Yes, I have about 40 of those, what we'll call 5-minute reads, of which 7 or 8, they're all about ultra and the effort of ultra and what it means to me. Some's about motivation, some's about age. There's 6 in there about Laz and backyard from my 6 races over the years. So, and I will be sharing it, it's as an ebook. It's all written. I'm just getting it designed and we'll bring it out. Yes.
Nice, nice. No, I know you've got to go, but can you quickly give your 3 backyard ultra tips?
Of course, Paolo, and look, thank you so much for having me on. I massively appreciate it. You know, I love backyard. I love what you're doing for it as well. So the first one is slow down. For new backyarders, it's so crucial to understand that you must slow down. I think in my first, I kept thinking, oh, I should be under 50. Why? Other people are under 50. Slow down. Like get that heartbeat super low. You will really quickly learn that, of course, it's great to have more time, but in the beginning, slow down. That's number one. The second one is get really good at eating. And this I think it's very obvious, but really practice. Like practice what you can put in. Practice all the different things to eat. I think as I said in my poem, ultra running is an eating competition that just happens to have some running, right? So be great at eating. And the last one is become a student of the sport. This is unlike, I have run 100K races, 100-mile races. I've done Ironman triathlon. Backyard's a world of its own. Like you've got to read, listen to your podcast, watch the documentaries. The subtleties inside this game, and I call it a game, is such an amazing game. I think it's really important. Sure, we all learn by experience. Turn up to your first one, you'll realize, I listened to Phil's tip. Who would have thought one of his tips is get elastic laces?
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to think that on day one. Oh shit, I got to go buy some elastic laces, right? What's going on? If you do it a couple of times and you love it, become a student. There's so much good info out there. This family shares. So slow down, learn to eat, and become a student.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I love it. Thanks so much for coming on, Ned.
I super appreciate it, man. Thank you. I know you reached out after Bigs. I had such an amazing time. And just to say, Pato, like in 1 year's time, I'm going to Singapore Champs. I wish everybody well at that. I love Joshua. I know he will probably beat me, but I'm going to give him my all because I have a dream to be back at Bigs when I'm 60. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, well, all the best. I mean, and you definitely won a lot of fans at Bigs. Like a lot of people were messaging me saying, this guy's my new favorite.
Look, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I love backyard. And I think, like in this world, I think I'm not trying to tell the story. This just is my story. And I felt so grateful. And I think people could feel that. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks again, Ned. We'll definitely keep in touch. And I hope you make it back to Bigs.
And I hope, Pato, maybe, I know I saw on Strava that your best was 38. I'm sure there's much more to come. Maybe one day we'll see you there too, my friend.
Yeah, well, look, people like you are an inspiration to me because, I mean, it reminds me, I'm still a kiddlywink as far as backyard ultras go.
I see you on Strava, man. You're putting in the effort. You will get there, my friend. That'll be amazing.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ned.
Awesome. Thank you, Pato.